warm welcome to all our viewers of Women's World. I'm your host Oinitham, and I can assure you, you are definitely going to love this particular episode. I have really lovely, gorgeous ladies as my guests today, extremely talented, and they in fact are the leading ladies in the world of fashion and modeling. So without much delay, let me introduce you to my special guest today. Tora Kashgir, she is the promoter of Tora Kashgir Fashion Foundation, also Assam's very own, very first model and actress. Also on the show is Diandra Soros, a lady who does not need any introduction. She is the world-renowned model. And joining us today is Shonali. She is one of the budding models already making her mark in the international modeling platform. Welcome ladies, really nice to have all the three of you on this show today. So let me start first by asking you, Tora. I'm sure many of our young viewers, they would really want to know from all of you and Tora, from you in particular, what does it take to make a good model and actor?
Well, let me first start with a good model. See, modeling is not just one particular, like just say ramp or something like that. You know, it's in many ways. You can have print model, or like you can do television, or you can do like a ramp.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of dedication and hard work. It's not just what you see, the glamour business.
Right.
Like it's a lot of hard work that goes in. So basically, you have to be a dedicated person to your job, and then you have to work really hard towards it. Like where your body is concerned, your skin is concerned, of course, disciplined also. Like, what you are eating and everything as a holistic this thing. So if you are just around 5'5" or 5'6", you could still do pageants in the Northeast.
Yes.
But I am sorry to say, but that doesn't make you a ramp model, because they have this thing here, and I've seen all the models. Maximum ramp models are 5'5", 5'4", 5'6", and no.
Also, that used to be a thing earlier, and then it shifted once it became a business.
Yeah.
Because earlier fashion was entertainment in this country.
Yes.
So once it shifted, and we were there to see that shift happen,
Yeah.
right? Which is why I guess there was that height thing.
Yes.
Yes. And then it shifted, and then people still kind of got stuck thinking that, oh, but a Malaika did runway, or a Yana did, they'll pick out the one off, but those are not they're not the rule, they're the exception to the rule.
Yes, yes.
It's just
Yeah.
sort of that one-off thing. You can't catch and say, but so-and-so was a runway model. You can't, because that's the exception.
Yes.
The general is the larger is a 5'8" and above,
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's more or less the average that we have
Yeah.
in India maybe.
See, basically, even I've seen 5'7" onwards in Bombay also. I've seen, but now the new generation of models are much taller. So now, for the viewers here, or for the Northeastern young people, I would like to say, like, listen, don't think that you can do ramp if you're 5'3" or 5'2",
Correct.
because that is a wrong notion you have, and the people who are guiding you in this are completely wrong. You cannot go to Bombay or Delhi and say, like, listen, I am already doing shows in Guwahati, I can do ramp.
Yes.
You could be the best ramp walker or whatever, but you will not, in this part,
you
you
won't
can't
even
do
be
it.
entertained at an audition for any of the fashion weeks. You won't be. You'll be sent away there on basis of just that.
And
For your basics being wrong,
Yeah.
So what are the options for girls?
with shorter heights.
Yes.
Of course, there's print media, there's catalogs, you can, it's
ads,
huge.
there's so many things.
It's huge. Ads, you don't need to have height to be in ads,
Yes.
So basically, the avenues are like there.
Yeah.
It's open,
It just
it just,
needs to get out of that typical mindset. Yeah, I want to do this only and move on.
Yeah.
Explore the other options.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
when I'm mentoring
Yes.
the younger generation. I feel my first class goes in getting their head in order to even understand uh, the enormity of what they're walking into,
Right.
what their options are, when being realistic.
Yeah.
People need to understand that wanting to be an actor and a model is the most sought after business in the world. It is the most sought after profession in the world.
Yeah.
So you can wake up there and you can have those stars and dreams in your eyes, but you have to be realistic, because everybody, whether it's her or me or an Angelina Jolie or a whoever you name it, okay, has faced rejection in this business. You can't just
Absolutely.
wake up and say, okay, I'm the,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the thing and I've arrived, and it doesn't. You have to be realistic about so many things. So this is one of the issues,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
absolutely.
them not being realistic enough about the height, and they say, okay, we've done some shows, because see, in most parts of India, it's still, you have fashion weeks also just cropping up. Those are not businesses. They're actually just like entertainment shows, and people are making money, and organizers are
Absolutely.
making money.
Yes,
And
yes,
it's like
absolutely.
3 days of shows is called a fashion week. So
Yeah.
there in itself is an issue. So you have to understand that the actual business itself, whether it's the West, the girls are going now to the West, or coming here, whether it's Bombay or Delhi, the main hubs, is way more professional. And
Absolutely.
what constitutes making of a supermodel, like today every second girl says, hey, but I'm a supermodel. No, we don't have any supermodels, because doing just runway doesn't constitute you being a supermodel. But the tags, everything is just thrown around very lightly, right? So there's what makes a supermodel is the fact that you have a body of work on a lot. You've done editorials, you've done ad films, you've done music
Yeah.
videos, you've done print
Runway.
campaigns, you've done runway, and that's what makes
yeah.
you a supermodel. Not just that I have been doing some
Ramps.
shows and okay, and now I'm this self-proclaimed, a supermodel. So there's so much, but to get that, first is to break down that mindset. And get people to understand what it
This whole-
is.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, it's just not like you started by saying that it's not all about the glam. There are many things that go into making a supermodel a real one.
A real
in
one.
its real
Absolutely.
term, which is acceptable across the globe.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
think Northeast India or something like that, there's this larger world where, and modeling is taken very seriously.
Absolutely. And now this is the thing. I'm so sorry to say, like, you open anyone's Facebook
Right.
account here, everybody is a modeler.
Yeah.
And every second person is a designer. And every third person is a choreographer or a photographer. And I'm thinking like, oh wow, we have got such a amazing fashion fraternity here. Let me have a look. And then I go, and they do not know how to measure their height or the body. You ask them, what is your height? I'm 5'8" and 5'9", and when I actually go and see them, and I'm like, oh my God.
There's no chance you can.
You come up to here and you're telling me you're 5'8" and 5. I am 5'9", she is 5'9". So, I know she's 6'2".
Right.
So she didn't know her height. And in China, they actually, when they measured her, they're like, she's one of the tallest ones.
Whole of China maybe.
Yeah. No, there were 2 more girls who were as tall as her. So they couldn't believe that we had such a tall model representing India, So basically this whole concept of and they say, I'm 36, 24, 36. I say, अरे किस तरफ से आप लगते हो 36, 24? और वो तो मॉडल का बॉडी है ही नहीं 36, 24, 36 पहले में हुआ करता था.
That's another myth.
Another myth,
So but it's just people just do anything. I just
Anything.
feel
So-
like also because they tend to get away with that because of nobody, like I said, because you're doing, everyone's just thinking, oh, everyone's just arrived on the scene and that we've done this, and they don't realize and see the larger picture of what's happening as a business.
Let's bring in Sonali here. She's the new kid in the block, if I may say so. Please don't mind that. So, how has your experience been?
My experience, it was a first international pageant for me, and there were 62 country girls were competing, and I met new people, my choreographer. I got to some training sessions there, and it was a very great experience meeting this many girls and knowing each other as we are staying in a model house together. And yeah, I learned a lot, and it was like running every time for changing and my schedule, and yeah,
I would like to say something here.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, Sonali, you have to tell them because all these people, you know, I am going for so and so competition, I am going for that, and we are getting so many crowns, so many people, especially from the northeast. Now, let me tell you here what is a real competition and how it is done. She had to, like, she was dying out there because every day they had to rehearse, they had to travel for
that's what
hours,
I wanted to hear from
and
you.
with
How-
full costume
They had to be weighed.
they
What about
every
that?
day.
That
She
they
was
couldn't
measured.
put on
She
any
was.
weight?
They had measured every day, weighed every day, and they sent back a couple of girls because they had put on a little bit of weight. They sent Miss England back.
It's tough.
It's very tough.
No, so the level is basically that's. It's not. It's like here now in India. There's every second person is some Mrs. India, Mr. India, Miss India, something
Yeah.
and something, and somebody of this week, and I'm just like, what is going on, right? So
Aloo pyaz ke bhav
everybody
mein.
has some title, but you know what I mean. It's all. They're all basically money making. I've heard that people, contestants have to pay money to enter some contests, and they have a fee to pay, and it's just bizarre, right? So
You never
so
pay
you
for a
have to-
good competition. Like, you know, when you go for a good pageant, they don't make you pay for it. You join it, you have a fair shot at it. If you are competent enough, they will pick you up. You don't need to pay for it.
Yeah.
Here, everyone's paying 1, 2, 3, 4 lakhs. I don't know for what. This is like a trend in the Northeast.
just
This is
to
what I've
enroll.
seen, you know, just
Yeah.
to. So I don't know.
So, Sonali, coming to you, you're a budding model now. You've already represented India in China recently. So, tell us your experience, you know, because generally what each one of us tend to think is that it's all about the glamour. But I'm sure the journey to reach that level is extremely tough and there must be a lot of challenges. So, share your story with each one of us.
Okay, so I will start from the day one because this is like international thing, so every contestant has to travel alone, and this was my first time I traveled alone and a little bit scared, but I thought yes, I can do this, and I traveled, and I had a good time in the flight and I was very confident that time that I can do this now. I reached, they took us to the office, the Miss Model House. Before that, every contestant has to give their presentee that we reached. And they collected 10 girls from different countries, and they took us from there to the model house. So everybody shifted their stuff. I got roomies, which was Thailand and Indonesia, very helpful. And yeah, gorgeous. Everybody was so beautiful, like Hollywood actress types. And it was started with day one, that we got our schedule, what tomorrow is we are going to do. And
So, how is it, you know, day to day when you go for pageants like these? How difficult, or how is it all fun, happy, or you have days, you know,
Everything.
when it's too much of
Everything.
stress?
We sometimes face problems running with the heels, taking off our shoes, messing our rooms, getting ready. I used to wake up at 5 o'clock because we were sharing rooms. So I used to do my stuff before than anyone else wake up. I take a little bit of time doing makeup,
What about the
we have
food and, you know, I'm sure there is a fitness regime also there that you
Yes.
strictly have to follow. So how difficult are all of those stuff?
It was like we were sleeping very late at night. We finished all the things till 12. After 12, every girl used to get out of in the gym clothes and started
So
running.
this is 12 in the midnight.
Midnight.
Yes.
I
Lovely.
personally,
All
I've
right.
seen, because I was judging the pageant myself. So when I went for my stroll sometimes, I would see these girls sweating it out in the gym, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, what is the time?
Yes.
You know, but they are so serious about this that, you know, it's amazing the how enthusiastic or how determined these girls were, because they wanted to make a mark, because this is an international pageant, mind you. So you have to make sure that you make your presence felt. So it was amazing to see them working so hard. And whereas the food and things were concerned, they were eating like little birds. But
They had to keep within, like we
within a-
mentioned
yeah,
earlier,
certain
that
weight
there
and-
was girls that were sent back.
yeah, Miss England got sent back. Yeah.
Criteria that
Yeah,
they have to
so-
fit in.
Yeah, yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, I mean, those are the basic things, right? So they obviously are keeping tabs, and they obviously are professional from their end, and then it's up to you know, everyone else to do. So from the outside, everything
Looks very nice
very
and
pretty,
beautifully glamorous. yeah.
I've heard this statement, even today I heard it when I'm working, that, oh, you'll have such a cushy life and you just go and, you know, this happens and you sit and do makeup and hair and, oh, how
If only
lovely,
you
and, you know,
knew.
you just have to pose and you just have to, you know, whatever else, and you'll are wearing gorgeous clothes and, you know, this.
The best of
But
life,
it's, well, on the people who are on this side of it are the only ones who really know, you know,
what-
oh my
what
God,
happens.
the enormity
Life
of it
is.
all.
Yes.
And that pressure to constantly look, you
In a
know,
certain
a
way.
certain way.
Yeah.
So she should actually ideally also mention the processes that began once we came to that thing that, okay,
Yeah,
she's
when
the
she
girl.
was picked
Yeah.
up by both
And,
of you into
uh,
the foundation, and the entire process
That
of
whole thing, you know,
getting trained
your
and
skin
groomed.
care, your, you know, so
Hair, like the complete makeover that happens.
everything, right? So that the process starts not when she takes that flight and lands
Lands
there.
there.
It
That's a
happens here.
different, you know, sort of agenda that they have going on there within that. You know, so they
Yeah.
have to follow whatever they need to follow. But before that, how much do you even then put in here?
Yeah.
Right, which we've all done when we've, you know, back
So,
in the
Daniel,
day.
let me ask you, because you started way back, even you for that matter.
Together.
Right?
yeah.
So what is the difference, and how tough was it then? Is it still equally tough?
So, you know, so here's the thing. Strangely, I mean, oddly for me, I think
We were discussing about
I
it last
was,
night.
yeah.
actually.
So I actually am probably one of the only Indians I can safely say, I think, even till now, that started for at that time.
Yes.
Also, even today, it's still considered pretty young in India. I was 15.
Yeah, 15 is young.
I was
Any
15.
given.
But abroad, it's not.
Abroad they started 13,
even
14.
younger, 12, 13,
12,
14.
13,
But that's a whole different story why that happens there, okay? Because they age differently and, you know, whatever. They start looking older, faster, blah, blah, whatever. Lots of things. Like here we know we are also more protected and mollycoddled.
Yes.
So, till today I can safely say, of course now we have girls coming in younger at like 17 and all that.
Yeah,
but
but 15
is still unheard of,
pretty,
okay? So in terms of that, like in terms of that age factor and having started so young and then being part of actually the senior kind of batch of models, and then also being a junior and having my contemporaries and all of those. So I've seen a lot of the processes. I also saw the fashion industry being when it was considered still entertainment, and it was not, it was considered, modeling was considered a hobby. In my own head, to make that transition as well from it me realizing that, okay, hello, this is not even a hobby anymore. It's a profession. I've got to treat it like one, and I've got to change my mindset over it. So even that transformation
You've seen the
itself.
whole evolution of Indian fashion industry.
Correct. And fashion weeks coming the first time, and then we did,
we did
the
the
first
first
one
week,
right through till, you know, whenever we all decided to do and leave it or quit it. So I mean, it's vast, right? But the one thing that I feel doesn't change is how much you as an individual want it.
Right.
Okay, how seriously you take each of those things that you decide to do, that hard work, that passion, that, see, now that's something that you cannot
Infuse into somebody. It has to come from within.
Exactly.
It's the individual.
exactly, and that's what sets one person apart from another person. And of course there is
Yeah.
luck
Of
and fate.
Yes.
Okay.
And then of course there are people like you who's into this thing to groom people like them, and maybe many, many more.
That's because I guess we came from not going about it the wrong way. A, not having godfathers in the
Yes.
business.
We didn't.
Nobody from our families
Really
were
hard
ever
to
part of the
get where
business.
you guys
I
are now.
still don't have anybody from my family who's part of this business. Neither does she. We didn't obviously go down the wrong route to get the easier way and
Yes,
climb
yes,
the
yes,
ladder, which we all know exists.
We work really
so-
hard for it.
So, when you work that hard and you still make it and you do it, then you want to pass on that, because you know how much hard work and how hard your path has been compared to someone who's probably taken the easier route, right? Yes. That's one. And two is, I guess we came from a time where we had seniors that came forth and helped us, who were may not have been our mentors in that sense, that it wasn't a job for them, but they were our mentors still, or even us. I mean, the fact that we helped each other while we were still contemporaries in the business speaks a lot, right?
Absolutely.
we
Yeah.
helped each other.
No
with
jealousy, nothing. But
There's no
nothing,
insecurity, and you want someone to do well. You want your friend to do shows
go
and
along,
be
you know,
with you, and you know, be in the same shoe,
Yes,
or,
yes.
or whatever. It's like if someone else is doing well, it doesn't mean that I'm, you know,
Gonna
you
get
don't think
left
like that,
behind or
right?
something
So
like
you wanna kind of, for me personally, I want to pass that on, which is why mentoring and teaching is so exciting, because you want that to kind of continue, and you want them to have a much better and an easier time than you did.
No, but it is much more easier, I feel. It is much more easier now because before there were no agencies, there were barely any, very few coordinators. We did everything ourselves. We found out where the castings were happening, we found out where
Now
the shows were
everybody
happening.
has it all
Now
on a platter.
everybody has it on a platter. Acha, there is a casting going on, please go there. Acha, you know, there's some show is happening, go meet the coordinator or
And
the choreographer.
they don't have to send the pictures, they don't,
they
have,
don't
to
have to
do
send the pictures.
anything.
No, no,
Your agency is doing all of that for
Everything.
you.
And we walked. I remember Dinah, look, you know, I used to carry this bag and I used to carry my heels in it. And Dinah showed me the railway system out there, the trains. So I knew how to travel by trains. And I used to travel by trains all the time during those days, and buses. Carry a packet of biscuits, some water in my
So
bag
must
and
have
my
been,
shoes.
sorry for interrupting, must have been really tough for you going from this part of the world at that point of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And then when I went to
absolutely.
Paris, I had the
Crazy.
same thing. It
But you
was the
still
same
had an
thing.
edge. No, you're from Mumbai.
No,
She's from Guwahati.
No, what I mean is, so for me it was the same. It may not, I'm from Bombay,
From
so it was
India,
okay, easy.
yes.
I didn't have, which is why I was actually more caring to all my friends from my Miss India or her
Yes,
that came from
right.
out of town, because they were always come home for home cooked meals or
I
anything.
agree.
Because
If she wasn't, I would have been like-
you're paying your rent, so these girls coming in have to also work that much out because they paid rents to pay and things like that, and we, you know, don't have that. But
Yes.
what I meant was, when I got selected to go to Paris, for me it was, this was what her process was, from Assam to Bombay,
Right.
was my process
Can
any which
understand.
way. So I
Yes.
didn't know anybody, I didn't know the language, people didn't know, I didn't know how the trains women's work, people refuse to talk in English
English,
there, even if
yes.
they know English.
crazy.
It's insane. I was like literally, suddenly I'm walking in the rain and I'm like, oh my God. And you know, I'm looking like a mess. I think one of my first jobs that I landed was a huge job with a huge designer. I literally skid and slipped because it was raining outside. I slipped into their lobby like that. And I'm like, maybe I should go and fall in all auditions. Maybe that's how I land a job. But it's hard.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. Your roommates, my roommates didn't even know the language. So I'm sitting there feeling all alone in this new world and
yes,
country. But it
absolutely, yeah.
teaches you, and you pick up things, and but that's what I mean. So either you can run and hide and say, okay, this I can't do it, and I don't want it, and whatever. So
Or you just
you've
go
gotta
get
make
it.
you've got to
because you
put
wanna do
your
it. Yeah. So on that note, let's quickly slip into a break. Viewers, do not go anywhere. There's lots more on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching Women's World, and I have three gorgeous ladies on the show today, extremely talented. They are here to share their stories and all that all of you need to know if you are interested or looking forward to know anything about the world of fashion. So, continuing with our conversation, Sonali is already beginning to make a mark in the world of fashion, and maybe hopefully next film will be her next stop. I do not know that. But coming back to both of you, you have groomed her and she's already reached the international platform. So what are your plans going forward? I'm sure there will be so many other Sonalis in this part of the world, in the Northeast. They must be looking for avenues, for options. They must be wanting to know a lot more. So share your plans, because both of you, I assume, are planning for a national level pageant here in the Northeast.
Yes, see, what is happening is in Noora Khasgi Fashion Foundation, because it's here, I'm from the Northeast. Now, this I had been planning for the last couple of years, that I wanted to do the pageant here, being from the Northeast. So, I got Diandra involved in it. She'll be the mentor for it. And it's always like all the national pageants are in Bombay and Delhi, and even Bangalore, some pageants are there.
Right.
So I said, why always there? Why can't we focus on the Northeast? Let all the girls come here. Okay, so that is one thing. Besides that, we are planning together to have like this grooming and modeling school here. So, you know, because see, if you are really seriously trying to be a model or wanting to be a model, you need grooming.
Yes,
Mind you,
that
you
is
need
to
grooming.
understand.
Yeah,
Instead
instead of
going out blindly and then nobody knows anything, they have no
And then-
idea of the business, they have no idea how to conduct themselves, they have no idea
Absolutely
who have
no
been
And then
there,
get
who are
rejected,
the
feel
people.
hurt, and
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back.
They don't know how to deal with rejection. There's
Yes.
so many things.
how many times we
Right?
had to go for so many castings, so many this thing, you know, and we did not get selected. But if had I sat
somebody,
down
yeah.
and thought like, oh my God, I didn't get selected for this ad or for this show,
You're right.
and I need to, like, you know, I would have broken down long time back and come back home.
You need to learn how to cope with rejections.
Yes,
and-
absolutely. Now, the thing is, either you go to Bombay or you go to Delhi. And when you go there and you go under one of those schools of modeling schools or wherever and train, it's 10 times the cost. Because your food, your stay, your course and everything, it's so expensive. So
Plus
either
you
why
have that pressure that you have
Yeah.
to land some job in order to make those payments. Unless you're coming from a very rich household where your parents are paying your rent and your
Everything is taken
you
care
know
of,
exactly. So you shouldn't want to do something wrong or go down a wrong way. We've seen it
Yes.
happen to a lot of
lot of
models because
Because of
they
these things.
crumble
Yeah, the
under that
pressure,
pressure,
pressure.
right? So
even to maintain a certain lifestyle. I've seen here.
True.
I've seen
True,
here.
true,
I've seen girls just to maintain a certain lifestyle, to carry a fancy bag or
Yes.
to have a fancy mobile. I know what's going on, but that is not what modeling is.
Yeah.
Please, if you think this is what it is, I'm sorry. It might happen to you for 1-2 years, and after the third year, everyone's gonna forget about you. Who are you? Simple. You know, you
Yes.
need to take this seriously, and for that matter, we are going to have this grooming and modeling school here, where, like, you know, I want to reach out to the whole of Northeast. Anybody, any aspiring models or like, you know, they think they can make it. Please come. We are open. Please come. We will start taking in batches. And we can't promise you jobs.
Yes.
But we
But
can
you
train you for
ensure
the
that,
So this is
groom them
another
properly so
issue
that they
with this
can-
generation where they feel like if they come to
What do I
learn
get out of it?
from you,
Yeah.
what do we get out of it? What do you get out of it? You're getting all this training
Yes.
and you're getting all this knowledge and you're getting all this information and experience and everything to prepare you
Yourself, yes.
Yeah.
to take that step there. We cannot possibly convince your parents to allow you to go to Bombay.
Yeah.
We cannot go
Tell
and
a
start
designer.
spoon feeding you there and saying that no, you must take this girl of ours and you know
We
this,
can't
that
do
and the other,
that.
because we are not an agency. Go land yourself an agency and we can
Yes.
help you in that if we feel that you have that potential.
So I would like to know from each one of you, you know, there's this parental thing. We Indian homes, usually our parents are not very open to be it the modeling industry or the film fashion world. There's kind of a little jijak, जिसको हम बोलते हैं, you know, there's kind of societal pressure and all of those. So how did each one of you overcome all of those?
Also, there's a misconception of the biggest thing is the misconception
Misconception.
of this industry.
Yeah.
Basically,
Maybe
which
that's-
is
that
not
is why-
entirely, which is not and then of course movies, certain movies that have not helped and aided that, because
Right.
people don't realize that it is there, but it's there in everything.
In
It's
every
there
other
even in an
profession.
office
Yes.
space,
Yes,
right?
it's there in
But
every
it's just that people don't know how to remove themselves and say that yes, you have to be realistic and understand. I'm telling you that yes, there is a casting
You've
couch,
been-
and there you
been-
can
yes.
climb up the ladder that way.
Yeah,
Okay,
or
with
you
your
can go
little
to
sugar daddies and your this thing and that thing, and you can go down that
Yes.
road. Or there is a possibility to still make it. I'm still in the business
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm here
Yes.
still on my own terms.
And she's
I'm completely
already
clean.
beginning
So-
with in
so
a very
it is
clean
a
manner.
possibility.
Yes.
Without having to go through any of those stuff.
And by the
Absolutely.
way, at the end of the day, it's hello. Nobody is forcing nobody anything. It's an
Absolutely.
individual choice.
Choice.
I'm not even dissing the girls who have guys who
Yeah,
have done it that
of course.
way,
It's
because
their
or
personal-
whoever, you know,
Yeah.
that is their choice, and they made those choices. You see, but the coming back to the whole parents
Yes.
thing, well, you know that there's a you can
Yeah,
elaborate.
The thing is, because you know they are so scared now of the generation nowadays that if we talk to them this way, maybe they might turn more rebellious, or they might just leave home. I don't know what they are thinking, but I have met a lot of parents here where, like, you know, I've found these girls. They have come up to me. The parents have brought them to me, and they've said, like, listen, you know, we would like her to or him to be under you for the for training. You know, you should take them forward. Okay, fine. Next thing I know, either the mom or the dad has come to me and they say, ma'am, please not now. Tell her that she's not been selected by you, and then she has to
Pursue her
study.
studies, yeah.
And I'm like, excuse me, I think you need to sit down with your daughter and have a frank heart to heart. Why can't you? No, she'll get upset. I said, no, then you are failing as a parent.
True.
You should be able to, sit down across the table and, have a, heart to heart to your child.
It's not your job to tell their kid.
And how can I, tell your daughter or son that, listen, you've not been selected. Can you imagine what it might do to their ego, their morale, their confidence? You don't understand that. You better understand that and tell them, no, listen, this is how it is. Make a pact with them, make a deal with them, tell them, listen, you continue your study, but at the same time you do whatever your passion is. Why should I become the bad guy? I don't understand that.
So while we are still talking about all of these things, Diandra, you have had that unpleasant encounter which you've mentioned in your Facebook post. So, you've also, according to you, men are wild predators. So, is that a very common thing in our fashion film industry? Like we've already said, it's part of every profession.
Absolutely.
So, as a girl, what are the challenges we face, each one of you have faced in your world of work?
To be honest, the modeling world is actually amazing for women.
For women,
It
yes.
is
It's the
more
safest.
amazing for women. Like everyone's going around this whole world, like, fighting for equality and this whole feminism thing, and you know, and of course I'm a feminist too. But so in modeling, it's the only career where at least on the runway, okay, where the women are paid much higher than the men. So it's not like the movies business where the actresses are trying to be like, we have to get
That's
equal
nice.
pay.
Yeah.
There's none of that, because actually, to be honest, we're getting paid more than the men.
Yeah.
And aside of that, we actually have way more jobs.
Yes.
And then we're also very safe because pretty much everyone's gay.
Yeah.
So that, from that point of view,
Safest business for women.
So actually, if there are parents out there that are, you know, kind of worried about
Their boys.
about all of these things, no, you know, I'm also kind of making light of it. But no, there are. See, look, the whole world, actually, to be honest, why just this industry? It's actually, and this country. Oh my God, you know, we're like unsafe, pretty much walking on the
Yes,
road,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
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 So it's not. It's. I just feel like if you're brought up right, you know, and you have your head on your shoulders.
yes.
B, if you're mentored right,
Absolutely.
you know, like literally, like I say, my mentoring when my first classes literally go in not teaching them how to walk or pose or
Yeah.
any of those things. It's
aware.
actually breaking down and getting into their minds and making them understand certain things. And of course, people who are parents know this, that you cannot stop your children from making mistakes. So it's the same thing. I cannot stop my students from making mistakes. I can tell them of my experiences. Same thing that
Yeah.
parents do, right?
Yes,
They tell us,
yes.
don't do this, don't do that, and
Right.
this happens, that happens, or whatever, because they're trying to be protective of you. But you cannot. And
Yes.
at some point, you're going to have to make your mistakes and learn from
Learn
them.
from.
So the thing is, that's where upbringing also kind of comes in. Now,
matters,
if you
yeah.
have supportive parents to this, like I did, it's great, because then you are able to really go
Yeah.
out there and fly. And for some people, it's a struggle, because you have to convince your parents, and then maybe your mum might want you to do it, but your father's apprehensive, and this and
Yes.
that. But then again, the rewards are that at some point they will look at you and they'll be absolutely proud of everything that you did, and so that's
True.
a you know, a great gift then.
Yeah,
So there's all kinds of things in the
Yes.
mix. So it's very difficult to kind of put it all in one. But
Yeah.
like I said, you know, if you're trained right, if you're told right, if you're mentored right, you know, you have an understanding then that, oh my God,
A
it's
better
not so
understanding of
rosy,
things,
and that maybe we should. I still can't stop my students if they want to go down another path and do something. I cannot.
you can't.
It's their
Yes,
personal
yes,
choice.
yes. But you can
But
just
I can
guide
at least
them.
make them aware that, look,
make them
it
understand.
might be
Yes.
harder. You know, a part might be harder, and this might be an easier. You make those choices. Now I can't go and there's
Yeah.
not that much. We can't go and control.
Absolutely, we can't.
But that will be,
It
you know,
all.
making, changing that whole person into a different entity altogether.
But to say that the whole industry is
Is
like this,
labeling
and
is
that you
not
have to do this
Yeah.
to get there, the perceptions, in fact, till today, especially now in the day and age of social media, where people can say what they want to you, right, to any celebrity or anything, to get this actor, yeah, you must. She looks like she has just slept with that. You know what I mean? That assumption
Yes,
of
yes,
this,
yes.
the
Yeah.
assumption of that. Oh, you have never done any of this
Right.
to get
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
why
yes.
I can sit here very confidently and talk about this topic
Yes.
openly and
Absolutely.
truthfully, because I have nothing to hide behind. I'm not, you know.
What
So
do both of you have to say about this entire hashtag #MeToo movement?
It has happened. I'm like, in so many aspects, in so many professions, we have seen it.
Yes.
We have seen it in front of us.
happens to
It has
everyone.
happened to
Everyone.
men,
Every day.
women, everywhere, every day.
every day.
But
So
do you
in-
believe that, you know, women in particular, women should speak up then and there
I think every individual, every human being should speak up because we are not seals that we will fall on each other and we need to be sort of, we are not. Like, why should somebody touch me?
Without you wanting
Yeah, it's like, you go to click a picture, like
Yes.
as a celebrity, I have a lot of people say, hey, can we
Yeah.
have a selfie with you? And this Indian thing is like, they'll put
Yeah.
their hand around you.
Yes.
Why do you need to touch me? It's
You can
okay,
take a
we can
selfie
click
like
this
this,
selfie. I don't know you. You are my fan. I will say yes to you,
Yes.
and I'm obliging this no matter what. But you don't need to touch me. How do you, in your head, how do they get there to think that, this is okay?
it's so easy. Yes.
So
yes.
let's not even reach the topic of rapes and
yeah,
more
it
severe
that's-
brutality and
right.
assaults, but starting from a very basic thing, and this is it's a humanity issue. It's not even an issue of this country. We're so scared to comment on your Facebook or to just say anything because we don't know what you'll turn around and do and whatever. And I'm like, okay, 1 second. Like, I always knew that I was intimidating, and now this has gone to some other level. And okay, it doesn't personally, honestly, it's like I don't even, give it this thought.
Yes. Yeah.
But that people think like this and they can even shake in their boots and say that to you is just like, I find that funny. Because I'm just like, like in my head, then my reaction is, good, you should be.
Yes.
Because if you're so stupid to start with, to say that we're so scared and oh my God, you're like, you're scary, we're scared to say. I'm like, fine, then if you're so stupid to have these thoughts because someone can be opinionated, a woman can have an opinion and have some kind of idea and perception and honesty and be a certain way and be truthful and not be diplomatic and the diplomacy that everyone's used to. If being honest and being open and being like fearless or fierce is reason for you to be intimidated and scared, then good, you should be scared.
Yeah.
What else am I supposed to say? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what are you expecting?
Absolutely.
Like,
But
it's strange.
this entire Me Too movement, do you think it's actually now going to change the way men look at women or
Men look at men.
yeah?
I think it already is.
Yeah,
I think it already is because literally, every second person is like, oh God, and rightly so.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether
about
it's said
time, I feel.
jokingly,
Yeah.
whether it's not, however, okay, wake up everybody and start to think, because a lot of men are like, and the thing is, it's like, we may have also said something and aided in all of this or accepted some stupid jokes from friends or guys or so it's
Yeah.
there,
Aware,
people are not aware and you may have done it out of
Yeah,
you
just
know,
maybe
whatever,
never thought
growing
about
up on
it and
Bollywood
just
movies and
just-
stupid songs
yes.
and little things and then how it became so intense. But
Yeah.
a lot of guys, a lot of my male friends messaged me and they said that it's so amazing, and these are like party boys, bad boys, so-called bad boys, and all of those things, but like lovely guys. And they said, we didn't. It's so nice that you girls have decided to come out and say it like
Speak
it
your
is and put
mind,
it
yeah.
out there, because we did not realize the enormity of it. And he's like, I sat with my sister and I asked her, and I was horrified to know the stories that she had. And so you see, it really has started hitting so close to home, because
Right.
for brothers to
Yes.
have this conversation also with the women, or the men generally to have conversation with the women in their family, whether it's their daughters, whether it's their sisters, whether it's their mothers, or whoever, whatever, right? That is a huge step, because
Yes.
suddenly it's like they realize, oh my God, we didn't realize
been happening here in
what-
my own house.
Correct.
Absolutely.
That how much goes on and to what extent and how
So
it's
do-
everywhere.
Do you ladies feel that this entire movement came in too late?
Well, I say better late than never.
Than never. So,
Because
yeah,
last year
I'm
when
very
we
happy,
tried, when it was internationally there and we, kind of
In Hollywood and
tried
all
to
that.
speak about it, it didn't really gain as much momentum.
Momentum.
And I feel like somewhere you know, thanks to Tanushri, and it
Yes.
needed to gain a certain kind of momentum from our level, which
Right.
is that public level. Of course, people don't realize that we are also at that level where we get more flack for all of these things, because
Yes.
people say you want to do this for publicity and blah blah. Nobody wants this kind of publicity. Some people do, and that's sad, because it again is the
But
same
that will
thing.
again be very short-lived, right?
Absolutely.
That
Yeah,
kind of
but
publicity
so
will be
this
very
is the
short-lived.
yeah, but the thing is, if we weren't there talking about it, and the people in the public eye weren't there talking about, then how would it have reached those masses? How does it reach those lower levels? Because then who is listening to those women?
Right.
We are
Yes.
the women, or we are the
Yes.
supposed women
Yes.
with the voice, right?
Absolutely.
So it's, you know, I mean, there's so many.
and the saddest
It's
part-
like saying the whole industry is bad,
Bad.
right? It's the same thing.
Yes.
So if one or two people are doing this for publicity, doesn't mean that everybody also is. But if the
Yeah.
women who did give their time to this, and it, trust me, it sucked a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of
Mental and emotional
you know, stuff. And the point is, we are all still forming councils and still working behind the scenes on taking this conversation forward and removing the time from having to pay bills and working and family and you know, whatever else, to still say that you want to take this forward. Why are we doing it? You're doing it for the betterment, for
the future generation,
her kids, you know, whoever else's kids, the next
Yes.
generation, you know,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's like when we're mentoring the girls for the contest, or for whether we want to mentor them to be models, what are we really gaining post that? Like eventually when they
Yes.
go out there and they do
Well,
well and they do
and we see them,
or
we're
whatever,
like
then
proud
what-
mamas.
other
Of
than that, what do
course.
we get?
Yeah, yeah,
They're not
yeah.
paying us for lifelong.
Do you also think that they, sorry.
Sorry, you know, I would just like to point out here, you know, sadly, this has happened like before, that Tanushri, like 10 years ago, when
Yes.
she actually voiced it out, no, she got just, nobody bothered about it, quietened down. It's the whole, you know,
Media.
male community in a way, I would say, was so overpowering that she did not have a voice at all. The patriarchy. So basically, she had to, like, you know, go back, or she became a recluse. You know, she had to, like, you know, she just didn't want to continue anymore. But now, it's sadly that we have to follow what Hollywood does.
Oh, yeah.
Because it picked up in
Yes.
Hollywood, it came till here.
Therefore,
And by the way, Tanushri spoke in one of her interviews about it. It just all of a sudden became a rage.
Right.
So the thing is,
So-
that will never end in this country.
have to follow.
So it's like, it's the same thing. So like, if the models there right now are supposed to look like boys, and there's more this androgyny thing, and the boys are supposed to look like girls with this slimmer bodies, and you know, they have that kind of look. So in India also, whether you have that kind of body type in this country or not, which we don't to
Yes.
begin with those
Yes.
bone structures, very few people have it, or
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yes.
But we have a varied thing. But no, it's a trend, and we must all follow the international trend. So there is again the thing of being too thin and the size 0 and all.
Yeah.
Where did it all
Yes.
come from? So you see, that will never go. That our obsession with all things white
Yes.
will possibly never end.
Never end.
So
It's not gonna die out.
you know that.
Yeah.
Let's not even go there.
Go there.
we were the like, you know, her skin tone is lighter, and mine was also quite a bit lighter. So she used to tan all the time.
All right.
I was
Will
a
they
fake
tan?
dusky model, by the way.
Yeah.
Because people ask me, how are you so fair these days?
what did you
I
do?
was fair
And
and
all that.
handsome. Because they didn't realize that all that while that I was modeling, I was actually going
She-
out and getting a
yes.
tan all the time.
Every
because I
single
wanted
time.
to beat that whole and fight that whole thing of fairness being this epitome of
Yes.
whatever.
Beauty,
I
like,
remember
you know,
being
why?
told at a Lakme audition that I didn't get, even though I won Miss Beautiful Skin in my year, even though you know, I was always in the forefront of doing cosmetics because of my skin, being told one day that I was 5 shades too dark, and that is why I didn't land the job. And I was so upset and angry at that Lakme job that I was like, that day I decided, after that audition, I went and got tanned, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this tenfold
Right.
more,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be this
there.
dark girl. And when I did Lakme Fashion Week, I told the head of Lakme, Mr. Anil Chopra, one morning made the biggest mistake to ask me come and have breakfast with him at 7 a.m. because I told him, I was like, you know, this happened to me at your audition and this is what I did and I don't understand. You're in the position to make that change. I'm saying there are fair people in this country, but then have an option of having a fair girl, a dusk, you know, a between peach, you know,
Yes.
peaches and cream, whatever, like a slightly dusky girl, and then have a dark girl. Like, why can't you have three
Because
people?
it's very
And I
in
chewed
India,
his
beautiful
brain
girls.
that morning
Yeah.
at 7 a.m. And you know, I mean, well, I could have been kicked out of that fashion week
Yeah,
and many
of
fashion weeks for being
ran that risk
too
of-
brazen and muffat as usual. But eventually, he went on to take. Do an ad, if I'm not mistaken, a Lakme ad campaign with, I think it was Yana, Malaika and Bipasha. So there were
Alright.
three, Bipasha, three different skin tones. And you know, the fair light eyes, the middle,
Yes.
which is Malaika, and then Bipasha, who is, you know, the all-out dusky girl. And I was like, okay, yay, that's, you know,
Yeah.
some kind of progress at least. So
Alright. So before we wrap up this show, few things for the women from Northeast who really want to enter this space. How soon are you guys setting shop here? And you have traveled this part, you belong to this part. What are the prospects for the girls from Northeast?
Well, I think it's, had I not seen beautiful girls or who talents here, for that matter, even good-looking men,
Yes.
like, you know, who could make it, I wouldn't have set up Tura Khasge Fashion Foundation
Right.
here.
Yeah.
My whole thing about being from the Northeast, I'm very passionate about Northeast, you know.
Yes.
So I have gone through Northeast Diva. I was privileged enough to go throughout the Northeast, selecting models, you know,
Yeah.
or upcoming talents. That's why I met a lot of good-looking and fabulously tall girls also.
Right.
But now, the thing is that now, yes, we can set it up. Now it's up to them
For
to
them
come
to-
forth.
yeah.
You know, as soon as next year, early next
Yeah,
year, we're planning.
actually, you know, the minute, like, I would actually want to address everyone personally and
Yes.
say that, you know, obviously she actually took the words right out of my mouth when you asked the question. She obviously believes and has always believed in the talent from here, so, and the beauty from here, and so do I. I've seen it with her, with the you know, with so many other
Yeah.
girls, but it's so less. It's too less.
Come
you know,
forward.
and
You need many, many more
yes,
young
and also
girls
in it's,
to-
you know,
yeah.
honestly, it's okay, modeling, which is more accepting to different kinds of looks. But I feel like you know, you guys from the Northeast need to have your day even in to be in Bollywood, mainstream Bollywood movies.
Absolutely.
And that
absolutely.
needs to
And
change.
you have a film coming?
No, yes, and that needs to change because the whole mindset that it's there's Northeast and then there's India. You
Rest
know,
of
you're
India.
India,
Yes,
and
India
you
versus
all don't,
Northeast.
you all are
Yes.
not
Yeah.
even sometimes considered Indian.
Yeah,
Yes.
they think we are
That's
from
a very sad
China.
thing.
And they, yeah, so that's racist, wrong. You know, it's so many different things, and so that needs you'll need to be more.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to all be
Yes.
together.
Yeah.
We need to all come together. So it's only if you get up and you come forth and you believe in yourself, then you will get all the training that you need. So there's but to come ahead, you know, so you guys have to get up and decide that, and it is possible because you do have
Yeah.
the biggest example sitting here.
Right here. Yes. Yes.
That's a living, breathing example amongst a few
So
others
many
as well
others,
who have made it and who have been accepted by this industry. So the
Right.
thing is, we can give you everything, but we cannot.
Pull you out. and
Yeah,
select
we
Yes.
cannot force you to do it. So So we're ready from our side. Her contest, she's thinking
In September.
August, September. So obviously the work for that will be just before.
Yeah.
But aside of that, ideally we would like to do the mentoring. So the same girls that are mentoring even with us can be part of the contest as well later. So they're already trained. It's like me and my Miss India was already, I didn't need that kind of training, but it helped, right?
Yeah.
But I already knew because I was already working. So
Yes.
so the thing is that what you learn will be lifelong.
No, absolutely. Yes,
Which is
we'll stay
how
on.
we had
We'll
such
stay
long
on.
careers, because we had a good foundation of learning, right? We learned at different contests and we had training. So that training is what stood us in good stead. So the thing is, so we are ready. We actually would like to start, at the start of this year,
right.
2019.
2019,
But the
yes.
thing is, to roll out a batch, we need. So she already has girls.
I've
But
already
we would like
chosen
to have a
three girls,
larger,
crowd there.
batch, you know.
Yes, yes.
So basically, we can create the platform. It is there. We are there.
yeah.
So please come forward. You
Yes.
will not get an avenue like this in the Northeast.
sure, yeah.
Or you might have to go to
So you
Bombay to
just-
get something
yes,
like
just
this.
have to
So,
take out
Having
this
something
time.
closer home.
something
Correct.
closer home.
So you
better.
take off this time. Also, in that training period, you can decide if this is really for you while you're still here in your home base and
Yes.
not trying to pay rent somewhere else and live a very expensive.
through
Bombay is
that
an extremely
whole struggle.
expensive
Yes.
city. So instead of that, because a lot of people even in Bombay who come to us, they're from out of town, they're from Bombay, but halfway through they realize that maybe this is not for them. Halfway through the course itself.
Yeah.
So come and test it. If you feel like you don't want to, or you feel somewhere, you're not already in some alien city, you're still in your home
Yes,
ground.
yeah.
You have a contest that's going to be right here. So you get all of that experience, and then you see if you want to then
Yes,
move to
pursue,
Bombay
yeah,
and
yeah,
Delhi and
yeah.
pursue this further and really want to have a thriving career.
And make sure that your parents' support
Yes.
is there.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Right.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Lovely speaking to
Thank you
all
so
you
much.
lovely ladies. There was so much more to
So
talk
much
about.
more, yes.
But on that lovely note, viewers, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Goodbye.